Now, if you know me, you know I love the world that George Lucas and crew created in 1997, that Disney later expanded upon in 2015. Star Wars is probably my favorite film of the entire Skywalker saga, because apparently my opinions on Star Wars now are considered a
hot take. I feel like I'm living in an alternate dimension.
Goes to show how times changed. But we aren't here to talk about my opinions on the other Star Wars films. Maybe I'll come around to that in the future. But for today, let's move away from the Skywalker saga and discuss a movie that I personally believe gets a lot of unnecessary hate. To me, it is an underrated gem in Star Wars. Now I know what you're thinking, one of the greatest moments in all of Star Wars that isn't part of the OT? Blasphemy. Now, slow down. Put down the pitchforks, let me explain. It's easy to come here and talk about Luke versus Vader on Bespin, or the final confrontation in Return of the Jedi, or even Obi-Wan versus Vader in Star Wars. Today, I want to take a more unorthodox approach. To me, this is an underrated gem, a scene that's often overlooked and hidden in all the blind Disney rage. Today, we'll be talking about the gambling scene in Solo, a Star Wars story. Personally, I can't wrap my head around why Solo was hated. I was among the few who thought the film was unnecessary. I still think it shouldn't exist, but I'm so very happy that it does. I recently watched Solo a few months ago to be exact, and I must say, it blew me away with its subtle yet masterful storytelling, beautiful characterization, fantastic acting, cinematic score, and downright gorgeous visuals at times. Solo to me was a very interesting take in this big Star Wars universe. A whole western slash heist slash coming of age story that's a really decent standalone film that even people who don't like Star Wars can enjoy. So sit back, buckle up in the Millennium Falcon, and let's discuss the gambling scene in Solo, a Star Wars story. The scene begins with Kira, Han's old flame, giving him the rundown of who Lando Calrissian is and why he's so important. Han brushes it off, reminding her that they're only here for his ship, the Millennium Falcon. Kira expresses that Lando loves his ship and that he'd never part ways with it, revealing to the audience that he won it in a game of sabacc, which is the Star Wars equivalent to a game of cards. This gives Han an idea, as the camera pans backwards from him and Kira, revealing Lando in his natural habitat, entertaining a crowd. And I must say, Donald Glover really brings this character to life, similar to Billy D. Williams in the originals. Him and Kira circle around the table as he comments on Lando's style. That's when he says it.
You say one is ship?
I have an offer. Spot this. I can take him.
There's a brief pause before the shot refocuses on Lando, before Han adds on to his earlier comment, ready to challenge Lando. Kira tries to talk him out of it, questioning his seriousness on the subject matter, but Han is not having any of it. The next line from him is brilliant, and Alden Ehrenreich's delivery and facial expressions really run home the message that he is Han Solo, the same Han Solo that we see in A New Hope.
I'm serious. Stake me.
The camera angle changes again as Han walks into the frame, as his blaster is the most prominent thing we see, showing the scoundrel part of him without even having to say it. He pauses as his stance mirrors that of a gunslinger in a standoff. Han's facial expression is brimming with seriousness as Lando speaks.
There's no liars in this game, just players.
Now keep that in mind, because if you didn't pay attention, you might probably miss this little line, and it's really important that you keep it in mind because it comes up later. Han and Lando have a tense exchange. You can really feel the clashing aura in the scene as Han interrupts him, asking if the seat is taken. Lando looks up and says,
"Nobody's in the seat, then it ain't taken, friend."
Now this is where the whole sequence starts to shine for me. Han asks if the game they're playing is sabacc, however he pronounces it poorly, being corrected by Lando.
So this is, sabacc?
Sabacc.
Sabacc.
Keep that in mind too. Lando asks if he's played it before, as Han answers saying that he has, a couple times before. Now what's so great about this is the fact that the scene is framed in ambiguity. Whether Han is telling the truth or ironically taking a gamble, we don't know. They exchange names as Hondo purposefully pronounces Han's name wrong, as to reinforce the idea that Han is no one to him.
Can I ask you a question, Captain Calrissian?
Anything, Han?
That's Han, but that's okay.
Han gets straight to the point of him being here, and this roughly 2-minute exchange is intense, subtle, but intense. Han starts baiting Lando into his hands with little questions about him winning his ship in the very game that they're about to play. Lando then asks what ship that he flies. Han obviously lies, saying that he's in the possession of a
VCX 100.
As they converse, Han casually places his cards down on the table as he wins the first round. He remarks that his victory was due to beginner's luck, further cementing the ambiguity of having played this game before or not. The scene continues to play out with Han and Lando neck and neck, winning each round respectively. Han, however, appears to be gaining the upper hand as Lando looks visibly displeased. Han then gives him a snarky remark saying that he finds this game fun, clearly taunting Lando. Lando raises 2,000 in response to Han's bet, but Han isn't fazed as he goes all in. In an attempt to get under his skin, however, Lando mockingly tells Han that he should quit while he's ahead. Han, unfazed by this, jabs back telling Lando that he should quit while he's behind. Lando laughs, stating that he likes Han before falling into his trap, betting his ship against Han's.
And I'm calling.
With what? Your scarf? Not my style.
My ship. Against your ship.
Remember I said to keep the quote in mind earlier?
There's no liars in this game, just players.
It's so amazing to me, subtle foreshadowing of a line that you might have missed on your first viewing, or it also comes up again later. Han wins naturally, and he begins to celebrate, and that's where the scene takes a sudden turn. See, Lando wasn't the one in Han's trap. Han was the one in Lando's trap. It's revealed that Lando, in fact, did lose, but he cheated, having cards hidden in his sleeve. I was speechless. The first time I'd seen this scene last year, I was starstruck at how excellent it was. I just knew I had to make a video about it. This is what cements Solo as a damn fantastic Star Wars film to me. However, it doesn't end here. The scene is initially what hooked me on this film, but it gets better. Let's fast forward to the end of our journey. After a really sticky situation, Han reunites with Lando, and he isn't too pleased to see him. See, Lando had abandoned him earlier in that sticky situation that I mentioned. Getting straight to the point, Lando asks for his cut for the help that he contributed on their little heist mission, but Han ain't having any of that. After threatening to have Chewbacca rip his arms off, Han notices the contraption in Lando's sleeve, realizing that Lando in fact played him during their first game of Scabat. Han goes for an embrace, claiming that the earlier threat was a joke. Then he makes Lando a proposition, another game of Scabat for Lando's ship, and this whole exchange is beautiful. Not only is it a nod to the scene earlier in the film, but Han puts on the most convincing poker face, luring Lando into a false sense of security before utterly playing him. And no, he didn't cheat to do it. He beat Lando fair and square, or as Lando said,
There's no liars in this game, just players.
and the way he does it is so amazing. You see, earlier he had swindled the card from Lando's sleeve, and what he says when he wins is just brilliant.
Not bad. Not bad. You know, if you'd only had this little green Psylop, you would have beat this.
Fair and square, baby. Fair and square.
And then our film ends in a shot of the protagonist flying off in his brand new ship. Ron Howard's fantastic directing, accompanied by the excellent screenplay by Lawrence and Jonathan Kasdan, mixed with the brilliant acting by Alden and Glover, honestly brought these characters to life. It was really amazing seeing Han beat down and played throughout the entire movie to becoming the scoundrel that we know and love today. In the end, it all came full circle, and he was the one making the plays. Anyway, this has been Beyond Animation, and I'll see you in the next one.